Hello, everyone. This is Celia Milton, your North Jersey wedding officiant, and I'm here with my partner, Andrea Pertel, who is your Central and South Jersey wedding officiant specialist. I think I got that right. That's a lot of words. We have a fabulous guest with us today. We're happy to welcome Sam Yenn-Batah, the founder and heartbeat behind Sex with Sam. He helps time-strapped couples who have more hands on their time than time on their hands go from stressing over the flow of their big day to actually savoring it. He assures that the joy doesn't peak at the wedding ceremony and then taper off. Instead, he amplifies the energy, gets the crowd moving with the DJ, and ensures the celebration will feel just as alive during the reception as when you said, I do. And you don't have to make any more decisions. He's going to take care of all of that for you. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to talk to him. So, Sam, good morning. Tell us how you got into this line of work, and tell us about the things that you do.
Well, good morning, Celia. Good morning, Andrea, and good morning, everyone who's listening. I've been playing saxophone for about 20 years now, and about 5 years ago, I got a call from a saxophone friend of mine who wasn't able to do a gig because he was double booked. And so he gave me a shot to fill in for him. And I showed up to play for a wedding reception. It was an amazing event live at the Park Chateau. There was a DJ and there was no rehearsal. And so I was really tested that day to be able to jump in and play with the music that was being played. And it was one of the most enlivening experiences of my life, much like learning how to jump in as a jazz musician. The most enlivening part was getting the crowd moving. And I left that night wanting to have that experience again of helping couples to celebrate their love and to help the folks who gathered that night to do the same. And so I've been doing this ever since then as one of my primary ways of, I think, bringing healing and love into the world. And I'm excited to share a little bit more about that journey with y'all here today.
Yeah, what a beautiful beginning. I like that. And it's as Celia and I always say, it's such an honor to be part of someone's special day like that. It's a really feel good moment. And I know your background probably really helps that. I was reading your About You page and your spiritual path that you've taken, and it's pretty beautiful. So yeah,
Thank
tell
you.
us now what you do.
The connection between the spiritual path and the musical path is that I spend a lot of time speaking with couples and family members in a hospital setting as a chaplain.
Mm.
And part of what we're paying attention to is how the music behind the words can be lifted up. So, for example, if someone says that they're having a hard day, there's some feelings that go with that.
Hmm.
And so, having been trained in that line of work for almost 8 years now, of paying attention to people's emotions, has really translated to helping me read the room in a wedding. And a great example of that was when a bride came up to me after dinner was served and was noticing two things. One, that the family and guests gathered were getting a little bit bored and was saying, Sam, what can you all do to help get us back into the rhythm of the night?
Uh-huh.
And so I said, you know what? Don't worry. We got a song called
Ah,
Black Eyed Peas. Let's get it started.
uh-huh.
And then we've got a little bit of Whitney Houston, um, I Will Always Love You. And then we can take it into some hip hop, soul, and just her sense of, hey, I can approach Sam didn't just start there in that moment. It was because of the conversations we had had prior to that moment of really understanding what she wanted as a vision for her wedding. And so my chaplaincy work has certainly helped me to build a trusting connection with our clients. And then the second story that comes to mind was when one of the clients that I worked with had some tough news on the day of their wedding. Unfortunately, one of their loved ones had died.
Oh,
And
Mm.
when that experience lines up on the day where you're trying to celebrate
Oh
love,
yeah. Mm.
you can imagine just how tough that is. And so my offering to them was, as much as possible, I'm going to try to walk with you both arm in arm with your love and your grief at the same day. And if anything comes up during the day, feel free to come and let me know. And true to form, after the dinner, the groom came up and said, you know what? I want to hear Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. Can you play that for us? And so, sure enough, I spoke with our DJ crew. They're always excellent and ready to go on the fly. We pulled up a Marvin Gaye instrumental of What's Going On, and I hopped right in and I went right to the groom and stood there, shoulder squared, face to face, and played that song for him. And he and his bride embraced each other. And it was in that moment that they felt love again, even in the midst of their grief.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's
so,
beautiful.
these are the kinds of moments that go beyond just simply playing music. For me, it's really about hospitality and doing that in a way that doesn't sacrifice the integrity and the love of the moment, but is also really authentic. And I'm so blessed to be able to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, the way to be able to connect with people through music is beautiful. And also, I think when people are going to be guests at a wedding, I think one of the things they remember most about the wedding is the music and the dancing, the party. I mean, that is the party of it, getting out there on the dance floor and keeping that vibe going that's so important at a reception, right?
Absolutely tremendous. And it's a key part because there can be moments where the peak of the wedding is the wedding ceremony itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that I like to encourage couples to think about is the particular emotional arc of their wedding and what they want. Now, a little piece of advice here is that rather than recommending a set of songs to your DJ or your musician, I would encourage couples to think about recommending the kind of vibe that they want for the wedding. For example, do you want laid back sunset vibes? Do you want a charisma and a spontaneous movement toward high vibes all night? Or do you want lifted energy going up and up and up? And part of the reason why I say this is because DJs and musicians, we think in a language that can give voice to that vibe. So a great example of that would be, let's say the DJ plays Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then on the very word of you, instead of letting the song play on, the DJ can take that word you and connect it to the song Soulja Boy's You.
Uh-huh.
And and the vibe from that moment all of a sudden goes from sentimental to club. and
Uh-huh.
and so that's why we say rather than give us a set of songs, give us the vibe. And we, as your artists, your experts, we have very creative ways to make that happen. And that'd be one great recommendation to keep the vibe going for the night.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I love that. The way to connect those two songs. Yeah. And when you talk about the vibe, at a wedding, each like the ceremony vibe is going to be completely different, maybe than the cocktail hour, which is going to be completely different than the reception or parts of the reception. So I imagine you also you work with the couple to figure out what songs to play for their ceremony, the entrance song, and maybe the fun exit, the recessional song, and then go into cocktail hour.
That's right. That's right. To your point, live music can bridge various emotions and experiences. And for the wedding ceremony itself, there have been couples who've chosen to go with a violin. And the violin sets up a really classic, excuse me, a really classic and a really intimate experience. And then for couples who want to experience a bit more of a sensual, loving vibe, they would often choose the voice of a saxophone to represent that. Mm-hmm. And that can emerge in cocktail hour with a combination of a piano and a saxophone, which will give the flexibility to play jazz standards, some Sinatra, and can also bring you up to Grover Washington, Just the Two of Us, or even some of Alicia Keys, If I Ain't Got You. And so we do want to ultimately work with our brides and grooms. And the way we make that easier is providing a playlist to start from for each segment of the wedding itself. Rather than building from scratch, let us help y'all make it easier um, to figure out the kind of songs that you would like for each moment, and offering our guests and clients a playlist to start from to build the wedding, the cocktail hour, and the reception has been the most easiest way that we support our couples. And they continually say, "Hey, Sam, thank you so much. We've got lots of things to do and lots of decisions to make, and it was just helpful to just have that starting point."
Yeah. Yeah. When now talk about when a couple hires you. First of all, do you can do solo saxophone? Do you also come with your own other crew? You have your own DJ that you can bring if they contact you and say we want the hybrid, the DJ, the saxophonist, and the other, or we already have our DJ. Will you work with them and just hire you as a solo?
Here at Sax with Sam, we have options. One of the options would be to work with the DJ that the couple has already selected. And in that regard, I'm able to jump right in and make the music happen, just like on that first day when I got that first call. And then on the other hand, I am having worked in the business for 5 years now, I've developed a great set of contacts that I can easily call, which includes DJs, which includes the Philadelphia String Quartet. And so I've worked with Posh DJs, Eclipse events, just a lot of great entertainment services and folks and colleagues in the business. And so from Montez Pro Productions to Don't Miss a Beat events, the list is long. And so part of the key here is to make it less of a cumbersome experience to choose who you want. And so we're able to accompany and support our couples in choosing who and what they want for their wedding day.
Yeah. Yeah. And you also play, other than weddings, you play events. So if a couple is thinking about hiring you, they can go to you have on your website,
Yes.
Samuel Yenn-Batah. We will be putting a link so that our listeners can go right to it from the podcast site. And we will also be putting a link to your Instagram. So you have different places that you'll be playing and they can go and hear you too. At these events, whether it's in Atlantic City you're playing,
Yeah,
and places like that.
absolutely. It'd be such a pleasure to welcome y'all to join me live. I enjoy playing in Atlantic City, at Kelsey's, and playing around Philadelphia at various restaurants. And so if you are going to come out, drop me a line, whether it's in Instagram or at my phone number, 678-499-3333. I just want to make sure that I don't miss you when you show up. And let's make that connection and let's sample the music and then talk about what it would be like to bring a sense of intimacy, connection, and hospitality to your wedding event.
Yeah. How far in advance do couples need to book you? Are you still do you still have availability for 2025 or are you going into 26 and beyond now?
I have availability for 25 starting in October. And then I have some bookings for 2026. So the calendar is starting to fill up as of now. So again, 678-499-3333 would be the quickest way to get to me.
I think it's a fun thing. I could see that, there's sometimes people add live musicians after they think they've got everything planned. And then they're like, wait a second, that would be a really fun idea. And it is a really fun idea because I think it really helps delineate the ceremony, cocktail hour, and reception into three completely separate parties, which is so useful because it's a musical journey through the evening. It's not one thing from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. That journey would be something that I and my crew would love to support folks in setting up. There's an old adage that I grew up with, having been born in Ghana and raised in Georgia. So if you've been hearing me say y'all, it's because I'm from the South. So some of that adage is, if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together.
Hmm.
Oh, I like that.
And so that's what we're doing at weddings. We're going far together throughout the night. And so having the diversity of instrumentation to go far throughout the night is really key. And so whether it's a violin, whether it's a harpist, whether it's a percussionist, whether it's a DJ, whether it's all of these things all at once, we have a full service for our clients. So that's one of the most exciting parts of my time, just seeing that journey throughout the night.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting the way that these nights, these parties unfold, because obviously we're there at the beginning, and usually it's a completely different vibe than everything else. Not
Yeah.
always though. I've had a couple of brides walk down to some like serious Beyonce, which is, gotta love that too. But
Yes, yes, yes.
I feel like, when we've talked to a lot of music people and DJ people, and every single one of them is like, it's important to have these three sections of the nights be different. You need that ceremony, which is, even if it's not religious, if it's not, a serious thing, it's a sanctuary piece. And then, cocktail, you get like trance, a little transformation there. And then, most people want a full out party for the end of it. And I don't blame them.
That's right. Yeah,
Uh,
I'd like to think of the ceremony itself as a sacred moment,
yes.
and in part because of how I experience spirituality. That sacred moment, to your point, may have some religious connections, and it may not. Yet at the center of it all, there is a spiritual connection about
Hmm.
experiencing meaning, purpose, and connection.
Yeah, absolutely. They're absolutely. I mean, it's a moment that I was in an event last night, a industry event, talking to couples,
Mhm,
and one of my couples said, we went to a wedding,
mhm,
and it was like just jokes and ruminations about the couple, and she says that's not what we want our wedding to be entertaining, but we don't want it to be like that. And I think that the music really, when you think about it, the first really moment that this becomes a wedding is when that music starts, when we start walking up the aisle. And there's so many different ways that can go after those first choices. I think it's kind of, I don't know. I like Pachelbel's Canon as much as anybody else, but
yes.
there's so much else you can do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, we all have those. I'm sure you have those songs too. It's like, again, really?
that's part of what I love about music, because there's a rich history and tradition when you hear Pachelbel's canon,
Hmm.
Yeah.
right? And if any couples are making choices right now, live music impacts the life and the soul of the moment. And to your point, the tiny moments matter. So the song you walk down the aisle to, your first dance, the parent dances, all of those shape memory. And to start off with songs that communicate a sacred moment, the beginning of a new threshold, uh, those are going to be very important to set the tone. And so when a couple like the one that you spoke with can be very clear about what they want and what they don't want, that's often helpful to the officiants, to the DJs, and to
Yeah.
the musicians like myself. So
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, ultimately what we're all trying to do is express their personality as a couple. And we say this over and over again. It may be the first time that they're expressing their personality as a couple in public in front of like their families.
Right, right. It's their first event that they're holding, right?
That's
And
right.
good point.
they're showing themselves as a couple. I love the musical journey of a wedding, and the flow of it. And it does, and it comes and goes, like the entrance when, all the guests are seated for the ceremony, and they enter, and it usually is a soft song, something very moving as they come in, and the bride has picked something beautiful to come down to, and then the ceremony, and then at the end, and they face their guests, and then the music changes to something very happy, a little sign sealed, delivered, I'm yours. And they walk back
There you
down the
go.
aisle, all happy. Now the
Yeah.
vibe has just changed, and then going to cocktail hour, first dance. And it changes all the time throughout the night.
It does. It does. I love that imagery and those examples that you lifted up. And just as you shared those moments, I was just transported into so many wedding moments where, whether it's the wedding ceremony itself, no matter what song you choose, to your point, you want to choose songs that have long and flowing phrases of music, not songs that have, let's say, short and punchy accent lines.
You make a very good point. I'm thinking of a wedding, those weddings where it's like we have 10 people walking down the aisle and each one has a different song. It's like, don't do that. Just don't.
No, it can become a bit too chaotic, and
It's chaos. Yeah.
it's jolting to shift from those different songs. And so, my recommendation would be to choose songs with long flowing phrases that allow the space and the moment to breathe. Because partly what we're doing as human beings is we are living and breathing with the music.
Yeah.
And so music in and of itself can literally set people's resting heart rate.
Yes.
And so
It's true.
to be conscious of that when choosing your music is something that we as experts bring to the consultation process.
It's so true. The whole, we were talking about something the other day, Andrea and I, I can't remember, it was something like completely not music related, really. We're talking about like processionals or something like that. And, I remember I said, I remember this wedding where they didn't have, and here's the next two people coming up, and here's, or introductions into the room. They all just came thundering down the hallway to some crazy upbeat music. The first dance started right then. And it was like, I remember this is 10 years ago, and I will never get that. They'll never get that wedding out of my mind because it was like so high energy, and it's not for everybody, but it was fantastic. And it was a live band, by the way. So
I think what you offer too in your consultation is the whole consultation process. I think couples know what songs they love, what songs that move them, but you really need somebody dedicated, knowledgeable, to help you figure it all out. So having that what you offer there in the consultation process and working with them is so valuable. That's they're going to come away with like that. That really worked out for us. Not only the guidance, because there's more to a wedding. It's different than just playing an event. There's like the connecting with them as a couple, getting the party going, that whole process, and having somebody that knows about that and that can guide you and work with you and know that everybody's different. It's personalized. You are personalizing your ceremony, through your music. It's not just pick from these 10 songs, right?
That's right. It's, as a bride or groom, you are picking the fabrics, the details of your garments for the wedding day, right? And so with your garments being bespoke, so should your music be bespoke. It should be customized to you. Yeah. And part of what, I love and have really cherished from my musical experiences when I was studying with Stevie Wonder sax player, Ryan Kilgore. Oh, and I showed up, he came to my house for our first lesson. And as a young kid starting out in the game, I thought, there's going to be sheet music. And, Ryan shows up and there's no sheet music because, of course, yes, Stevie Wonder is blind. And I forgot that minor detail. And so he says, Sam, at rehearsal, we call it the School of Wonder because you wonder what you're going to play.
That's funny.
You really have to be attuned to the music, know the music well enough, but even more so know the couple, know the crowd, know the audience, know the space well enough. And so that was about, 2018 now? And so here we are in 2025, and I've continued to lean on that kind of wisdom to be a part of the consultative process for our couples. And it's really about getting to know them so that we bring some of the wonder of the moment throughout the night. And couples don't literally have to guess what's going to happen. They can trust that their vision is going to be custom and bespoke to them.
Right. That's great. That's great. They you can get the idea, and but then they can just also trust you to go with it too. I want to say your Instagram, which is your Instagram is at Yenn.Batah. We'll put a link there. It's at Yenn Yenn dot Batah, and you have a lot of great stuff on your Instagram. It's beautiful, and you have different categories. You have one specifically for weddings as well. And I do want to say too, because weddings, beyond the music, are a vibe too. And if you want a very sharp dressed, talented sax player at your wedding, you got to call Sam, because he brings the vibe in his clothing too. I love it, because that's what we should, right? We should.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate the love.
I like it. I do love the picture that you sent us too, which will be on the Instagram, because it just looks like fun.
Yeah, it makes me smile. It's like I want to go to that party.
I want to be at that party. But I think something that comes through too is the what experience and talent and just the sheer number of years you've been doing this, what that brings to the table, and having the confidence to be able to handle a room and reading the room. People talk about this all the time. It's like, can your DJ read the room? Can your music people read the room? It's like, maybe something's been going on that we would like to change to have something else going on. And if you're experienced and you've probably been in that situation 20 times, it's like, okay, I know what to do next. I know exactly what to do next. And it's great to work with people who have that kind of intuition.
Thank you, Celia. I'm sure you all have become those kinds of folks as well. And I think together, when you have folks who have situational wisdom from the accumulated years of our work together, no experience is going to be a surprise to us. To your point, we know how to keep things going.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very important.
I want to thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes.
And I totally look forward to it, because I've worked with some of the DJs that you've mentioned.
Yeah.
And I look so forward. I'm going to be looking for you at some of my weddings. I generally leave right after the ceremony, but I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for you, and because I look forward to meeting you in person. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Andrea, Celia, I have enjoyed my morning getting it started on a Friday with y'all, and I can't wait till we cross paths in person.
Yes, that's exactly right. Listen, you have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
All right, y'all, take good care until next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.